Hey guys, welcome back to episode 5, Entrepreneurs Talk and Tea. In this episode we have an interesting entrepreneur and friend with me in this one that will introduce himself in a minute. So guys, don't forget to thumbs up, comment and subscribe on this channel, and thank you so much for all of your support. So over to Richard to introduce himself and tell us a little bit more about let's just start with what you're doing now.
Right now, I am doing multiple projects. Just a bit of background. So, Richard Bash, qualified chartered accountant by trade. Spent many a year working the way through my ranks at various different accountancy firms, and saw a gap in the market about, how many years ago now? 12, 13 years ago. So we headed up an outsourced division within our accountancy firm because there was a need for accountants as such to do more outsourced work in terms of like financial director roles and being more on board with our clients. We dealt with loads of entrepreneurial background people who just didn't understand the infrastructure and the needs of the business, and we built up an arm to the practice that essentially filled that void and helped them out.
Okay.
Essentially, but by doing that for many years, I found that the whole entrepreneurial side of the business really fascinated me, and more people were approaching me to say, you know, can we do something together? Can we do this project? I think because I had the finance background, you know, I was getting approached all the time saying, I've got this idea. Can we do something? You know, 9 times out of 10 that, you know, they didn't make it past phase 1. Yeah. But a lot of the time, some of them had legs and, you know, met up. And about 7-8 years ago, I jumped ship from accountancy and, you know, jumped on board with my first project.
Okay. So we tried to get at least 5 tips from the entrepreneurs on each show to try to get an understanding of if someone was to go out and venture off and start their own company and all the rest of it from it. This is actually the first interview that we've done that is non-trader related, or actually non-Samuel co-related, just strict business owner and gone your own way. What made you take that leap from, you know, working your way up in the ranks to then actually go to start your own company?
I think really I saw, over sort of 15 years in accountancy, I saw thousands of clients, and you got to see the good bits, the bad bits, where people were failing and why they were failing. And a lot of businesses were failing because you have an idea and you rush into the business with this idea, but you haven't thought it through enough. You know, the financing of it, the background, how you're going to set it up, who you're going to partner up with, you know, which bank you're going to work with. Yeah, there's so many different elements of it, and you saw so many fail. And if they only would have spent, you know, a month or 2 just putting, you know, the plan together first, they may not have failed. But some of the ideas that were born were unbelievable ideas. They're just the way that they were implemented didn't work. And it's a shame because some of the businesses that failed because of the individuals involved and the structure not being there, you then went on 2-3 years later, you might have saw that element of the business reborn under a different guise and actually was really successful. But for me, I think a lot of it is in the planning. You know, just take the time to plan the business. You know, you've got an idea, sit down with the right people, plan it out properly. You might delay things by a month or 2, but at least then you've got the ability to make it work.
When you made that switch from working for someone else to going and for yourself, was it a financial risk at all for you?
Yeah, massive financial risk. I left the comfort of an accountancy firm, but having done it I was in the outsourcing department heading it up for 6.5 years. I like to think over those 6.5 years I saw all the good, the bad, the ugly, and you see exactly how it's going to work. So when I jumped ship, even though I was nervous, I had all the groundings to know that I had a 99.9% chance it was going to work. Yeah. And so far everything I've touched has worked. Okay,
so let's try to get tip number 1 for the audience. So taking that first leap, what would you say is the major tip that you could give to them that you would probably give to yourself if you was to do it again?
Probably have a good team around you.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll give you an example. I got approached 2 days ago by a couple of guys in Argentina. They're wine producers. They want to start selling in the UK. Argentinian wine, from what I understand, is it's good stuff.
Yeah.
They basically said, "Can we set up a trade? Can we set up a DHL, FedEx, basically logistics account? And can we start trading?" I said, "No, hold on, guys. Like, you've got to register in the UK. You've got to do this." There was I sent them an email last night with about 30 different points that they've got to cover, and 28 of them they've never thought about.
Yeah.
So these were guys that were going to start importing. They had no idea. They've got no infrastructure. They've got no one on the ground in the UK. They just assumed that they could start basically bringing the stock over here and then worrying about it when it gets here. I said, no, like go back like 20 steps, think about all this. And they said, and they've come back and they said, wow, like we never thought of any of those steps. And they would have failed. They would have been, 1 week in, they would have failed. And it's just, slow it down slightly. I'm not saying don't do it, because I think it's a great idea, but just, speak to the right people, speak to the accountant, speak to the lawyers, just make sure speak to the shipping agent, get HMRC on board, just make sure that everything's covered, because you're going to fail within 3 months.
Yeah.
Look at the statistics for how many, new businesses fail in the first 6 to 12 months, and it's huge. Yeah. And how many of them really need to fail? They don't. Most of them are great.
Do you know what percentage that is or not?
I know it's high. I can't remember the stats. I mean, I know there's.
I think it's over 3 years. It's still quite high. I think it's still like 50-60%, isn't it, or something like that?
I think it might be a little bit higher than that actually. Over 3 years.
Really?
Yeah, but most of them are. I worked with a cafe once, not a client of mine, but I got involved, and the business started up. £500,000 was thrown into the business. They set up this unbelievable cafe. It was all stainless steel and everything in the heart of London. The business was broke within 3 months. And literally, £500,000 in, 3 months of trading, they closed the doors. And someone had worked damn hard for £500,000 and it's down the toilet. Only because they had this vision. They wanted it to be this super trendy, really cool bakery that was going to make fresh muffins and donuts and this, that, the other. It didn't fit for whatever reason, and it failed.
Well, to blow £500,000 in 3 months, there's some serious interior design. And
it was beautiful. It was a beautiful space. Really, really beautiful space. But anyone can create a beautiful space, but you've got to be able to, run the business. Yeah. It's just, you can't have it.
So tip number 1 is make sure you've got a good team around you.
100%.
Yeah. So you went down the accounting route, and then you set up your own business, and that's when you set up your accountancy firm.
Yeah.
When did you then get into logistics and that kind of side of things?
So about 7-8 years ago, I started working with a firm or a company that was manufacturing and importing from China through Hong Kong to the rest of the world. And over those 7 years, I built up really, really good relationships with loads of logistics, shipping companies, factories over in China, infrastructure in Hong Kong, and we built worldwide alliances with accountancy professionals in about 15 different countries. Yeah. And through that network over those 7 years, I then had people approach me because a lot of people want to trade internationally, but again, don't know how. Yeah. You can go and find an accountant in Hong Kong or in China or Mexico or wherever it might be. But again, you've still got to know how to trade in those countries. Every country's got different, rules and regulations and filing requirements and everything else. I had people drive me mad all day long saying, how do we trade in China? How do we set up a company in Hong Kong? How do we? It's just the knowledge.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Just the knowledge.
I suppose when you think about it, do you think that people really restrict themselves then by just being like local business just to the UK?
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people are scared of international trading because they don't want to slip up. They don't want to, the compliance over there is some of it's heavy, some of it's easy. Yeah. You've got some countries you can set a company up in 24 hours and trade. You've got other countries where it might take you 6 months to set up a company and trade. And the problem you've got is a lot of people want to trade in those countries and they say, I'm going to trade in India tomorrow, for example. And what they don't realise is it takes months and months and months to set up all the compliance stuff in India. India isn't as fast paced in terms of operations as, say, like a Mexico.
Yeah.
But people don't realise that. They think, I'm going to go and trade in India. I've got a contact. He's going to buy, 100,000 of something off me, and it's all going to be great. And you'll be like, hang on a sec, did you know it's going to take you 6 months to do the compliance? By which case they've lost the client, they've lost the business, and
Yeah.
you just got to, you've got to do your homework.
So what projects do you have that you're working on now then? How
Right
many?
now,
So you have your accountancy firm?
I have an accountancy firm. I have an Amazon business.
Yeah. What does that do?
So me and my partner have got an Amazon business. So effectively, anybody who is I'll give you an example. So you've got a business that's got its own website.
Yeah.
And it's looking for a secondary income stream.
Yeah.
And they know that Amazon exists, as everyone does. Amazon has a worldwide presence, but they do not know how to trade Amazon.
Yeah.
Anyone can go and set an account up on Amazon, but no one knows, very few people know how to trade it properly.
Yeah.
For about 7 or 8 years, I was involved with a business that internationally traded through Amazon,
Yeah.
eBay, and a lot of other marketplaces. And there was a massive gap in the market to set up a company that basically traded Amazon for third parties and did all the back-end marketing, imagery, website design, all the other bits, all the store pages for Amazon. That company went live not too long ago, and we're picking up at the moment about 3 clients a week.
Okay. Wow.
People are literally saying to us, I've got a great website, I've got a great business, I've got product, but I'm not trading on Amazon. I need to be trading on Amazon, because they see that while their own websites might be doing 10% of the business turnover, Amazon could be doing 20, 30, 40%.
Yeah.
Do
you think that's just laziness or just lack of like technical?
There's a lot of
knowledge?
agencies out there that say, yeah, we can do Amazon for you, but they can't do it properly.
Yeah.
We took a client on 2 weeks ago, and we've already got them £250,000 turnover,
Wow.
additional turnover.
And what products are those? Just an example.
We've got some in beauty. We've got some in like luggage, leather goods.
Yeah.
Just anyone. It doesn't really matter, to be honest with you. It could be anything. But there's a huge market out there on the Amazon model, and Amazon's not slowing down.
So do you think that's something that the viewers should know from an entrepreneurial thing, is to maybe get into Amazon selling?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think a lot of our clients are basically saying, we've got a business, it's in its 10th year or 15th year or 20th year, we've got a great B2B market, we've got a great website, we sell all day long, but show me the next income stream. And we say to them, have you tried Amazon? And say, oh no, we're not going to try Amazon, we don't know how it works, we can't do it. And we say, well, let us do it. And they're saying, okay, fine, like, where's the catch? And we say, there is no catch.
Yeah.
Take that section of the business, let us manage it, let us control it, let us do the advertising, the marketing, let us do the product imagery, let us just take the whole thing off of you, and effectively we'll run it as a department for you. And they say, okay, fine, and it works.
Sounds good. So we've got accountancy firm, we've got Amazon business. Number 3.
I'm helping a client at the moment with hotels.
Okay.
So I've got involved with the hotel business. There was a natural gap in the market for the product they're offering, which is really exciting, to do with student accommodation.
Okay.
So that's really working well. It's in the planning stages at the moment, with a view that it's going to go live hopefully in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, that's really cool.
Cool. So you've got those 3. Is there any others?
A map to my Amazon business. We've also got like an outsourcing arm.
Yeah.
So we do a lot of work with the Philippines, and we can provide outsourced customer service roles.
So I was waiting for that one.
So part of Amazon is on Amazon. In the early days, you don't need an outsourced customer service department, but if you have 1,000 SKUs live and you're selling, thousands and thousands of products a day, you're going to get a lot of quick questions and answers back. And setting up a customer service division within your office is hugely expensive. You've got to pay the rates, the rent, bums on chairs kind of thing.
Yeah.
We've got very close relationships with a company in the Philippines, and effectively, the cost saving of having an overseas
Good
operation.
speaking English?
Great English. Great English. It works really well. They tend to do the out of office out. So, if you're selling in an overseas market, the business can be operational 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
We work different time zones to Philippines. They speak great English. They can work an 18-hour day effectively on shift patterns, and I think you only have like 2 hours downtime a day. It works out, but it works well. It's very, very cost efficient, and it's a good model.
So you've got 4 things kind of on the go constantly.
4, yeah, but I have, 1 or 2 people a week drive me mad, saying, "Can you get involved? Can you help me out? Can you do?" Borrow my time. I give them advice. They go away. They do their own planning, and then 2-3 months later, they bounce back and they're back in the room with me.
Yeah. So, if we got tip number 2, would it be something along the routes of like, do you think that do you feel more secure financially the fact that you have multiple revenue streams?
Yeah,
maybe.
definitely.
So, would you ever advise just solely doing one thing or doing multiple things?
I always grew up doing one thing, and I saw with the client base I had that people had sometimes 2 income streams. Very few people had 3 or 4. But the more income streams you have, obviously, the more secure you are financially, or the hope is. But what you don't want to do is stretch yourself so thin that you jeopardise all 3 or 4 income streams you've got. I think anywhere over 2, you can sort of dilute the amount of hours you can give to something.
Yeah.
I'm very fortunate because with every revenue stream I've got a team of other people, so it's not just me on my own.
Yeah.
So I have a minimum of sort of 2 to 3 people on everything that I'm involved with.
Yeah.
And between us, we run the operations. But these are key individuals that I've known and worked with for many years.
Yeah.
We all trust each other. We, everything's equal all the way. We're all good at different things, so we don't have, 2 guys in finance. We don't have 2 guys in logistics. We don't have, everyone has their place and it works. We all bat off each other well.
Yeah.
And I think that's very key as well. Make sure that your nearest and dearest, all can add something different that you can't add.
Yes. Yeah.
And then that way you're
not just yes men.
Yeah. And you don't want yes men. I find now a lot of people say, "Oh yeah, I can do that, and I can do this, and I can do that," and you actually pin them down, and they can't do it. But a lot of people can be trained as well. I've met a lot of people who don't have much experience, but they want to learn, and they learn fast.
Yeah. So let's say tip 2 is diversification.
Yeah.
However, I would say on that one is one thing that I believe is that sometimes you can get the point where a business is pretty much automated.
Yeah.
So once it gets to the point where it's about to drive itself forward, it can kind of run on its own with very little man hours from yourself. That's when you then diversify and go to the next step.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I do get involved with projects, I don't do 5 on the same day, because you can't.
Yeah.
Because when you're on board any new projects, your partners or your clients or whoever it might be, they're going to want, for the first 2, 3, 4 weeks, they're going to want your undivided attention.
Yeah.
You can't just say, "Oh yeah, I'll see you on Monday at 3 p.m. for half an hour," and then you disappear for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
Yeah, no, I agree. So first tip is obviously going over the fact, getting a good team around you, surround yourself with those kind of individuals.
And also, don't be scared if someone in the team isn't a team player and it's not working. Don't be scared to,
get rid of it.
Well, not get rid of them, but to bring them up to bring them.
Yeah.
If someone's giving 40% when they could be giving 100, don't be scared to say to them, like, "Can you, just give them a prod." Because everyone in the team will work at different paces, and you've got to make sure you're all aligned. I'm not saying you're not working, off you go, but I'm saying, can you, or maybe maybe the skill set's not exactly what they need, and they're better at something else. Don't be scared to sort of rotate a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. So we've got 2 tips now. First one with a good team around you. Second one is diversify multiple streams of income. Once they become kind of automated, you can get away with giving less time. What would be number 3 as a tip?
I think one of the things we can't ignore is obviously having the financial backing.
Yeah.
Don't ever believe that you can set a business up for 500 quid or £1,000. Always make sure that if a project's going to need 1,000 quid, you can bet your life it's going to need 10,000. If you think it's going to, you work the multiples. Never leave yourself bankrupt before you started.
Yeah.
You don't set anything up and then 3 months in, be knocking on the door of your mum and dad or your aunt or your brother or your sister or someone and saying, "Oh, I need 1,000 quid," or make sure you've got your bankers there from day one. Even if you don't need a loan, make sure they're on point, make sure they know what they're doing. But this goes back to this sort of accountancy. Make sure your books are reconciled. Make sure if you have to go to the bank and you need 10 grand, 20 grand, 50 grand, make sure you've got everything in check.
Yeah.
never assume that very few businesses you can start with no money. So make sure you're funded correctly.
So making sure you're funded correctly, and from your experience, what's the easiest ways or the options to those that don't know of how to get funded when you're starting a business?
I always say, if you're in an employment, if you're working and you're earning money, and you know you've got an idea and you know you're going to start a new venture, cut back your lifestyle, save some money. If you've got a partner or 2 partners or 3, make sure you're all equal, make sure you're putting money aside. And like I said, if you think it's going to cost you £5,000 to set it up, try and have 10 grand in the bank or 20 grand in the bank. And if you're profitable from day one, go and speak to your local bankers. And I've got great relationships with loads of banks. And they all say the same thing. Show me your management accounts, show me your P&Ls. Just give me the info. There's money out there all day long that can be lent and borrowed, and banks are happy to lend.
Yeah, so you've got different areas, haven't you? You've got even like Circle Funding, they do it. You've got different banks that you can go to, or you could look at selling a percentage stake in your business or your idea to a backer or something like that.
But we do get a lot of the time, I get people coming up to me and saying, can you get involved? Some people don't want to give equity away. They think, I can't give anything away because I'll never get it back or whatever else. But giving it away to the right people is a good thing. Sometimes if you can buy undivided attention of an accountant or a lawyer if you need one, or whoever it might be that fits your business needs, to give up a little bit of equity to get them on similar to like a Dragon's Den type thing. If you can get a Peter Jones by giving away 5%, why would you not do that?
Yeah, it's 100%. Because it's also the fact that when you're giving that away, you're giving it away at this price with the idea that they're going to be able to take it to this price. So actually, you haven't really given too much away in the first place, because what it then equates to your stake later on is a lot more, and it's a lot more valuable to your business to have the cash flow and so on and so forth. Okay, so being well funded is number 3. What can we get for number 4?
For me, number 4 would probably be never assume that what you start out doing is what you're going to end up doing. I think the business model changes all the time. You set up a new co with this idea that we are going to sell mugs of tea, for example. And 5 minutes down the line you're selling coffee, and another 5 minutes down the line you're selling donuts and croissants and whatever else. And I think you've got to be prepared for the fact that your business is going to adapt, and your first idea may not be where you are in 10 years' time, and you've got to be. Don't be scared to change. Don't be scared to change direction, because if that direction is the right one for the business, even if you're, adamant that you've got to go down that route may not work, but this one might make you millions.
And I think that's where people actually fail, when they're not ready to adapt or change.
Don't keep throwing money at something that isn't working. But if you can adapt it and make it work, then crack on.
Perfect example, like Kodak, Blockbusters, those guys that didn't adapt to the change technology, they're gone. Even McDonald's, the McDonald's brothers, when they started McDonald's, they didn't want a franchise. I can't remember the guy that came along. I'm sure one of you guys will comment in the comment section and let me know. But the guy came along and then basically started franchising it and turned McDonald's actually into a property business by buying land, franchising it and owning the properties, and not really worrying too much about food but growing the business that way. So always been ready to adapt to whatever's happening in the scenario.
You have to adapt. So and many businesses you see now, they're not what they started out as. Or if they are, they're doing other things. They've added other bits onto the model to make it work.
I think that's probably one of the biggest parts, isn't it? Is don't be afraid to change or adapt. I think also one of those ones is actually listening to what your customers want as well, because your customers, will guide you roughly on, why don't you do this, or I'm interested in this, do you do this? And you're like, no. If you keep hitting that wall down when there's an opportunity and it's coming to you, you just need to get ready to open your doors and take that opportunity. That's a very big one. Just such as like, even in my business, when I was talking like about making algorithms back in the day, I used to just make them just for myself, and then people was like, oh, can I have that? And I was like, well, I don't know about that, because I spent a lot of time doing it. And then someone else was like, can I have that? And I thought, okay. And now it's all over our website and people have it all the time. So it's just moving, and how things are, is basically be open and prepared for it. So I suppose on that one,
Even if you look at yourself, where you thought you'd be today, 5-10 years ago, I bet it's not what you thought it was going to be.
no, I was working I was working in banking, so I was working as a assistant project manager. But so I know 10 years ago I wouldn't have a bloody clue where I'd be.
Yeah.
5 years ago, I had an idea what I'd like to do, but it's like I said, it's always changing. And I think in 5 years from I never knew I'd be owning a cryptocurrency, so that's completely changed.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. It's always just been open to that opportunity, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think you'd be surprised how many opportunities come to people, but they don't take that opportunity, or they don't run with it, or have at least a look at it. They're just like, no, not for me. Not
how many
interested.
opportunities have me and you have been presented with? Half a dozen opportunities.
Yeah.
And we've looked at them and we've thought, amazing, this is going to be great. And you look into the finer detail, and they're not.
Yeah.
You know, they don't work out, or there might be one area that just gives you a little bit of discomfort, and you walk away.
Yeah, I've had that. Especially when you're looking to buy into a couple of businesses, and you just think there's a few things where you're just like, doesn't add up, not looking at it, and but at least you took that step to look into the opportunity. It may have taken some time, wasted a bit of time, but you will get that one that goes and does really well, or that one opportunity that someone didn't take. And I think one of my biggest sayings is always look for the crumbs that people don't want. Everyone's going for this like big cookie, but no one's picking up the crumbs. And I think if you start picking up the crumbs, it turns into a cookie.
So the crumbs are there.
Yeah,
someone's going to pick them up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, four was always adapting and being open to opportunities. Don't be afraid of change and all the rest of it. So I think that could roll over to kind of every kind of industry, can't it? Don't be afraid of change. Don't be afraid of taking that opportunity if it's something that you would like to take, you'd like to grow as an individual. Don't be afraid to make that change, because at some point, anyone that is successful that's out there has been faced with that issue of taking that opportunity. Because if you don't take it, you'll never know, and you'll just be the same old. So if you keep doing the same old, you keep getting same old. Whereas if you actually change, you're either going to fail and then find another opportunity and then pick that up and go do well with it. Eventually you'll find one that does well. So I think don't be afraid.
What was the old stat? 1 in 10?
Yeah, was it?
Wasn't that Richard Branson? 1 in 10?
1 in 10 would be good.
For everything, 10 things you try, one should work.
I don't know, something like that. But it's so true. You have to put yourself out there to actually make change, to do something different, and take that small bit of risk to achieve something, to have that kind of lifestyle and great kind of vision. And I'm just going to keep on working towards it until. But
if you believe in something, look at Dragon's Den. How many people have spent years developing a product, and you got to keep at it.
Yeah,
you got to keep at it. And if it's not bringing in the money, go and find a secondary. This is why I keep coming back to that secondary sources of income. Go and be an Uber driver, go and do something, just make sure the bills are paid.
Get something to tide you over whilst you're working on your true vision kind of thing. And that comes down again back to diversification. So should we say...
But if everyone around you is saying there's no legs to this, then also this was going to be my fifth point, was listen to the people around you. If everyone's saying to you, like, you're flogging a dead donkey, maybe they're right. Maybe, you're not always going to be right. If you truly believe in something, and everyone... If your accountants, your lawyers, or your best mates, or your wife, or whoever, your partner, is saying, like, come on, like, wake up, you can see that this isn't working.
Yeah.
Not everything's going to work.
So don't be queer, but listen to those
doesn't matter
kind of experts
who you are and how
around
much experience you've got and how much money you've got. Not every idea is going to work.
But all of yours have?
Yeah, but I've turned a lot down.
Oh, okay, fine.
For every one that I'm doing, I've probably turned down 5 or 6.
So you've never invested in a startup and it's gone sour?
No. Some of them are hard going, but they've never gone sour.
Wow. I think that's impressive, isn't it? That's like a solid track record on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got one it's hard work.
I've never really hit the point where I've gone and I've had opportunities. I haven't taken any yet on investing in other businesses, but I've obviously gone from Samuel Co-Trading to Yieldcore into YieldOwl, starting this crypto exchange and all the rest of it. So they're all work in progress, WIP. So I haven't had any yet, but I would have thought that over my time I probably will hit some.
We're doing good then.
Huh?
We're doing good.
Yeah, we're off to a good start so far. I'm always very
Set up an agency.
Yeah. How many startup requests are we going to get after this video then?
I hope to get at least 5 to 10.
Okay, that's good. So Richard's after 5 to 10 startup requests. So we'll leave some details.
I'm getting 2 to 3 a week at the moment.
Okay.
That's without.
Yeah, just so you just grow them. So.
But the thing is, when we say joking aside, when we go back to, we haven't had any bad ones. That's because if you put the work in first. I mean, we've looked at projects, and and we've spent 3-4 months looking at them.
Yeah.
Before we've either jumped in or not jumped in, and we haven't jumped in for whatever reason. Now how many of those on week one were we really excited about? And we were like, oh my god, I want to be in this.
Yeah.
And 3 months later, we're like, wow, can you imagine if we would have got in this?
Yeah, it didn't add up.
And that's purely because we didn't jump in.
Yeah.
And we looked at the numbers, and we looked at the numbers again, and we got more detail, and we researched the market, whatever we did in every situation, and that's why we didn't get stung.
Yeah.
Because if something's that good, it will wait.
Should we just add a 6th tip then?
Speak to us first.
Yeah, speak to us first. No, do your due diligence on what you're actually investing into if you're an investor. But if you're your own startup, maybe you could take that as research your environment of what's going on around you, who your competitors are, competitor analysis. Is there enough room for you to grow in this without getting hit and run by other major players in there? Are the margins good enough, that kind of thing, to really kind of understand your environment? I think is probably a big tip. So we've got 6 tips now on this one. So I suppose my final question would be is what does 2019 look like for you? What are you looking to achieve in 2019, either business goals, personal goals, whatever?
2019, a couple of the projects I'm working on now, hopefully 2019 will be the year that we get some good growth out of them.
Yeah.
We put a lot of work into them in 2018. I know we've only got a handful of weeks left, with the view that 2019 is when they'll start really working. I say, do I take on more projects? I've got a team around me now, and I'm forever building on it, so I'm not scared to take on some more.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, 2019, hopefully it'll be 2018 and better.
Okay. So in 2019, do you have like a goal of how many more startups or things like that you'll be working with?
For me, the Amazon model is one that I'm really excited about at the moment, yeah. There's a huge need for it at the moment.
Yeah.
This whole secondary, third, fourth source of income for businesses, and why not? It's a no-brainer for me. If you've got a great business and you've got a website and you're making money and you've got the infrastructure or a warehouse facility with a pick and pack ability, why not enter an Amazon model? Don't be scared of it. I mean, everyone that I've worked with can't do it on their own, so that's why they're coming to us.
Yeah.
Because they want the Amazon model, they want the customer service backing it up, they want the marketing expertise, they want someone who can, make sure their websites are perfect, and the digital marketing, the imagery, the whole setup. Basically, they just want to say, well, here's what we do. Can you take that and do it on Amazon? Yeah. And we're saying, well, yeah, that's why the agency was born, to do exactly that. Yeah. And for me, that's one of my exciting projects at the moment.
That's one thing I didn't think of asking. So across all of these different businesses, how many people are working across all of them?
With me and across them, probably 20 to 30.
Okay. So it just depends on which stage.
Which is why it works. Very rarely do I get involved in an entrepreneurial startup that has like one person there.
Yeah. Because
you need more than that of a skill set. You're not going to find one person who can do the skill set to work the whole business. I mean, I'm not scared to say it. A lot of the businesses I work on, I can do the numbers. I can do, all the bits that I can do. But that's why I've partnered up with people that can do the bits that I can't. And I'm not scared to say that I can't do those bits because I understand them, but I'm not the guy that can do those, whereas they're not the guys that do the numbers, and that's why it works. Yeah. And that's why I think have the right infrastructure and the right people around you, and that's why I think you don't get failures.
So I think that pretty much wraps up the interview on episode 5, which is pretty awesome. Very different from what we used to, and seeing multiple businesses and how they're run. As Richard was saying, that we've got you guys have got the opportunity, all 73,000 of you at the moment, to be able to reach out to Richard. If you have a startup, we'll put the contact details in the description below, and you can contact Richard for potential help with your startup. But I would say, if all of you are going to go out there and go contact you, you must want something such as business plan, and
don't come to me and just say,
hi, how are you?
I've got a great idea, I want to open a pet shop, because I'm only going to drive you mad and say, well, let me see the business plan, let me see the numbers, let me see what you've done. We're not.
There's a lot of people, so business plan, numbers, and rough steering direction, and maybe a background on your team that is in the startup's great. And for those guys, they're obviously exclusive members. You guys will be prioritized if you wanted to reach out as well, so you guys will get first dibs on the knowledge side of things. So a big thank you for joining us on this episode. And make sure you thumbs up, comment, subscribe, click the join now for exclusive content. And if you have any questions, you can either ask them in the comment section, or if it's more about getting some backing or some advice for your business and startup, then feel free to contact Richard, which will be in the detailed description. Thanks guys, and I'll see you in the next episode.